Hello everyone and welcome back to Autonauts and to our Tower of Mark Zero robot bits. We still have some Mark Zero robots roaming around. Don't worry. We're not going to throw any of you into the incinerator as long as you keep working properly. But the bits are completely surplus to demand. So in today's episode, the very first thing we're going to do is start getting rid of them. Now, I briefly considered the hilarity in forcing a Mark Zero bot to burn the bits of its peers. Not that they're peers any longer. They are clearly superiors now that they are fully Mark IIs. But no, I really haven't had enough coffee to be willing to do that. Thankfully, however, we do have a Mark II over here, and it's completely okay for a Mark II to burn... Oh, wait, no. Is that wrong? Is that worse? Is a Mark II burning the Mark Z... Oh, rather, a Mark I burning the Mark Zero bit worse than a Mark Zero burning the Mark Zero bit? I mean, you know, you've got to consider the psychological trauma that the Mark Zero would go through, burning parts that remind it of itself. But allowing a Mark I to do it might set an unhealthy precedent. Oh, well, too late now. I've already built it. So we're just going to have to cross our fingers and hope that this does not go horribly, horribly wrong. Welcome to the dapper automated clockwork empire that may or may not quite be as dapper as the name should imply. But Coda, welcome. It is time for you to get down to the very, very important business of, getting rid of all of these parts forever. It's going to be really emotionally troubling, I'm sure. But let's get some bits and bobs in here. All right, until hands are full, I would like you to have a quick look through here. Now, the first one I want you to do is bot drive Mark Zero. There we go. Dunk, dunk, dunk. Pop that in there. And you're allowed to find them. Honestly, around here is fine. We'll just leave that there. Just keep picking them up until you've got enough. Once your hands are full, I would like you, until hands empty, let's pop this one down there. Just go ahead and drop them on in. So, whomp, whatever you happen to have. Move to wonder, add to wonder. There we go. Now, the second component that we want, that was the drive. We want the head next. I do feel a little bit bad about this, I'm going to be honest. This does not feel like something a dapper robot overlord / minion would really be teaching his bots how to do. But... well, we're here now, so... right, get rid of that. We'll just drop it. And then, finally, I want you to pick these up. Oh, no, that was not quite what we wanted. Let me drop that again. I didn't realize that we had two components there. There we go. We've got exactly enough room in your brain to do all of this. Wow, that's actually kind of impressive. Now, what will happen is once you've filled your hands, you'll try to pick these up, but you'll fail, and you'll drop through and keep going and keep dropping things off until eventually you've burnt through the lot of them. It's going to be grand, truly. I don't need you to follow me around, though, anymore. Oh, man, am I still carrying that around? I am. Let me just get rid of this. Give me just a second, Coda. I want to get you a battery, and I would like to get you I've got something in my backpack. I apologize. I'll get you a battery and I'll get you a grabber upgrade because you're really not traveling very far. There's no particular reason for us to give you speed upgrade here. There we are. Now, enjoy your work. What should I think kind of you're going to be a Newman. Yeah, we're going to put you in the Newman group. But instead of building, you're going to destroy. It is a necessary... it's a cycle of life, you know. Sometimes you got to burn a forest so that the new forests can grow. Sometimes you've got to make room for the new life by purging the old life. It is the natural order of things. I'm sure someone will write a song about it, honestly. There you go. Carry on. And I mean, I would tell you to enjoy it. Honestly, I think that might be a little bit too grim. Don't enjoy this. Treat this with the grim sort of resignation towards inevitability that it deserves. But there we go. Oh, wow, going for the heads first. I mean, I did actually program that in. I suppose I shouldn't be too surprised, but their eyes, their tiny little eyes, looking out at doom. I wonder if each component has a small amount, like maybe there's an AI subroutine in the head, in the body, in the drive, and then when you put them all together, you also install some sort of overarching control AI that kind of coordinates the subroutine AIs. So really, as the heads are being shoved into this mouth, they're actually kind of thinking, I'd really like it if this didn't happen. Alas, it must, so that we can progress. Okay, now, in our new area that you can see that we've got all set up here, I would like honestly to start laying down some flooring. We've got some new choices down here. Logs and planks aplenty, and I would very much like to see... Oh, wow, really? I can just do this? Oh, so good. So very good, though that is a little bit jank. Actually, you know what? I think maybe what we should do instead is just have one side first. Oh, really? Now I've got it. I can't drag this out now. Oh, that's super, super annoying. You allow me to draw in a big old line, but you don't allow me to delete in a big old line. Oh, well. We want to get some flooring in place so that we can start moving our manufacturing wing over here. And I think that's going to be rather grand. But we must make sure that the construction bots are looking in that direction. As you can see, construction over here is doing fairly well, though I'm not noticing a mallet bot doing any work, which is a little bit worrisome. We may need to move that around. Let me just slide this area on over. There we go. Enjoy. You're going to have quite a lot of work to do there. Right, so mallet bots. Why are things not being malleted? Let's have a look at the lumber group. Derek, you're hauling the mallets. That is full, so well done. That was my first port of call, actually. I assumed that might be the problem. And Speaker Blair, what's the matter? You have got 2 mallets in your backpack. Oh, I see. Now this is a bit of a problem, isn't it? Until his hand's empty. The assumption here is that Unspeaker Blair... Well, this is an example of no error handling whatsoever. Unspeaker Blair expects exactly the conditions to be 2 mallets in the backpack, 1 mallet in the hands, and if that is not the case, shenanigans. Absolute shenanigans. So let me just fix that for you. There you go. And you should be good. Let's have a watch. Unspeaker Blair, you are now off to find trees and start chopping them down. Or rather, malleting them down. Either way, well done. Very well done. Now, it looks like we don't dig up the turf. That doesn't surprise me over much, since these are, in effect, buildings that are being built on top of the terrain. But I am hopeful to start moving over... Well, we're probably going to start with the basics first. So we're going to set up a new log storage because I would like this area to have a dedicated log storage, but it'll only have 1. And then we're going to probably upgrade our plank and pole storage to be very similar to what we've got here for logs, in that our producers will all drop off in the first storage and we'll have a dedicated bot to move that into the second storage, which is where all other bots will draw from. So that way we can make sure that we've got 2 storages, but all of our bots are only drawing for 1. So there's no confusion. There's no need to have redundant lines of code in the bots so that they can pick from either or storage. They only have to look in one, and you know that that one will be getting all of the planks, for example, eventually. Other than that, things are going nicely, though. So I'm going to bring you back when we're a little bit close. Oh, my lord. You did that work stupidly fast. I do actually think Coda may have enjoyed it just a little bit. Now, whilst we're busy laying down all of the panel flooring for our new workshop area, let's have a look at our research. Now, currently, we've got basic laboratory. We only need to research 1 more tech to complete this one, which is actually quite cool. We have got to make a crude cooking pot, but I don't believe that we yet have the means to do that. We could start working on pumpkins, and that's a possible one. We've got farming arable. We would need to hoe and then grow and then scythe some cereal crops. There's a potential one for us. But what would we like in here? Now, we do need these structural parts for some of the things that are coming in the future. So, yeah, we could go for that, though the crude cooking pot appears to be down here. I think instead, though, we are going to be going for construction technology. I think that one's a necessary one. So let me go and grab 2 poles and get that on the go. There we go, 1 and indeed 2. Let's go and set all of this up. You may notice that we have upgraded completely to 10 times WUF. There's no reason for us to be using basic WUF anymore. So I've got Detour, who is currently just moving WUF from this storage down here. Sorry, from one storage to the other, rather, in much the same way that we've got the logs set up. And then, of course, we've got Road Train taking WUF from this storage, Scary Duck taking WUF from that storage, and Salazar moving WUF over to the first storage. So it's exactly the same setup as we have for the logs, and we're probably going to start seeing that happening more or less on all of the main storages. In the cases of things like the berries and the weeds, we're not really going through them fast enough to justify having 2 dedicated storages for them, but I can only assume that we're going to be scaling up our research efforts, and so eventually that will happen there as well, and we may even see it starting for things like gears and wheels. I very strongly doubt we will ever need 2 towers of storages for tools, though we may need to expand that in the future. We've got to build with a view to future expansion after all. Well, that happened a lot faster than I was expecting, and we got a panel, a square frame, and a fixing peg, as well as the structural workshop. That I was not prepared for to happen nearly as fast as it has. We have, however, completed the official planning science certificate. Now, what will this unlock? The billboard. Oh. Is this bigger than the regular sign? Here's your science commemorative slab. Thank you. Well, okay. Now then, we've got a couple of new things we can do. Over here, we can probably make a billboard, or possibly even upgrade it. Let's have a quick peek at that. As you can see, we haven't made much progress as yet. We're getting there, little by little. This requires 4 planks and a log. Wow, okay. I'm actually quite tempted to find out about that. What about over here? We can now make fixing pegs. Okay, not too bad at all, but I need a log and I need 4 planks to make this billboard because I desperately want to see if this is an even bigger version of this. If so, we may redesign a part of this new workshop because I fancy we're going to need more room than we have down there at the moment. Regardless, I need 4 planks. It looks like we have exactly that many planks here. Fantastic. Okay, let's get this going. Now, we'll easily be able to make a comparison with the billboard and the max size because all of these are on max size there. Oh my lord, this is huge. Right. Max size, please, and indeed, thank you. It looks like, yes, indeed, it is gigantic compared to the others. Oh, well, that being said, it's only an extra 2 on each side, so 4 rows or columns in total. That's not as great as I would have liked. It's not nearly as awesome. Still, this is glorious looking, if nothing else. I may have to update our terraformers and indeed our construction workers to make use of these in the future, because that will give us a lot more room to play around with. But it's not quite as awesome as I had perhaps hoped. Now then, if we have a look at down here, need 4 fixing pegs. I guess this would make panels and also square frames, perhaps. Let's go and have a look at that. So we need 4 fixing pegs. I am going to go ahead and get this done myself, I suppose, just this once. Let's pop this down there. So I've got a personal workbench that I can make use of. Oh my lord, I'm gonna have to go and grab myself another log. Well, this gives you plenty of time down there, though. As we're considering what next to do, let's have a look at the next research to unlock. We've got farming, which was probably something that we need to look into. Pottery technology, log cabin for even better colonist wealth generation. We've also got stone, simple stone shaping. I guess we could go with this. It would allow us to gather shaped stone blocks and store them in a pallet. Okay, sure. We'll go ahead and we'll start masonry technology, and this is going to require just a stone. Well, that's not going to be too bad then, all things considered. Oh my lord, 4 logs. I am going to be that lazy. I wasn't going to be lazy. You believe me, don't you? We do, however, want to get some research going. Yeah, we worked through the entire supply that we had there of WoW in one chest and half the supply in the other. So yeah, okay, so that does make sense why we managed to get that done so quickly, is we had all of that available. Now, getting this set up to the next level is going to require square frames. And I suppose that's what we're going to be hoping to get from the structural workbench. We will see, because if we can start working on the next tier of bot... Oh, Coda, don't worry, Coda. You'll be one of the first upgraded. You have a very important job, after all. The rest of you, though... Okay, we have finished the chopping block, and I've already set it to fixing pegs. We actually got 2 pegs for 1 pole. That's an incredibly generous trade, I think, and more than enough to be able to get everything built that we need built. So let's go ahead and get the final 2 fixing pegs for this structure. It doesn't look like I can hover over unless I'm not doing something. There we are. The work is coming along over here, but what's really slowing us down is plank production. Don't worry, I have plans to greatly improve that. But let's see what we can get out of the structural workbench first, then. We have got... what? Flooring required. Oh! Oh! Well... don't mind me, I'm just going to steal some flooring. It's going to be fine. Let's just slide that across there. Zoom out. Sorry. Yeah, I know. Super sorry. Genuinely quite sad that I'm having to steal your hard work, especially because considering it's going to put some of our plans back. But I really want to see what this does. What? What? No, really? Can I not? Is this not considered flooring, though? Can I... I can build it. Oh, wait. Ha ha! There we go. Sorted. Oh, I was panicking there for a moment. Yes, okay, so square frames require 4 poles and 4 pegs. Okay, so 6 poles in total. And a panel requires 6 poles in total, 4 planks in total, and another 2 poles. So 8 poles, 4 planks. Actually, 8 planks. So 4 logs worth of materials. That's not so bad, all things considered. As long as you've got a good production setup going, then that shouldn't be an issue at all, thinking about it. But, alright, well, we need... 6 square frames. 8 panels? You guys, this thing is going to be stupidly hard to upgrade. But oh well. We need to get some more work done over here, though. I think I'm going to start condensing the built flooring and focusing our workers on just a smaller area so that we can at least get to the point of moving plank and indeed pole production over here so that we can speed them up. I think that would actually be a pretty solid... Oh, you're already being taken care of. Very well. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to refocus our constructors' efforts and try to get up to the point that we've got a new area dedicated to the production of planks. It should be glorious once it's done. And here we go. We have got a bunch of new bots to work in a new area for harvesting, or rather constructing planks. I mean, I wouldn't mind if we could just straight up harvest the planks off the trees, but alas, there's a few more stages than that. So say hello to Vaughn, who shall be helping Vikamura in chopping the planks, because as you can see, we now have 2 plank chopping blocks. Though honestly, in the time where a bot is gathering the planks they've chopped, you could probably have another bot making use of the same chopping block. So we've got potential to have 4 bots dedicated to chopping blocks if we manage to have enough flow of logs to supply them. But we've also got Spencer, Little Rabbit, and Zangiri, and thank you so much to Little Rabbit and Zangiri for the patron support. Now, you 3 are going to be responsible for the hauling. Spencer, you are going to be hauling logs along with Little Rabbit from here over to here, because I do want the supply to be local. So you and Little Rabbit go ahead and move up, and Zangiri will be responsible for moving planks from plank storage 7 across to plank storage 1, because we are going to want all of the planks to go in here in much the same way all of the logs tend to go in there first. So with you 3 moved up, let's get you going. I'm going to want to pull Vikamura out for a moment because we need an upgrade for you. So there you go. Crack on then and enjoy. Marvelous. And yes, I did go for exactly the same setup as with Obsidian. Oh, look how fast they move though. Oh, that's glorious. Do they move faster on the Oh, they do. They actually move faster on the stone paving. I wasn't expecting that. I was not expecting that at all. I may have to make some changes over here then as a result, but still, this looks kind of cool. Right, so we've got Vikamura and Vaughn, and as you may have noticed, we've got a bunch of robot parts outside. Don't worry, it will only hurt for a moment, which may feel like it stretches on for eternity, because you are a bot after all, and your perception of time is is quite different from mine. But don't worry, it won't be terrible for too long. Oh, we're such scallywags. I'm literally having you watch as your old bits are being hoovered up and then incinerated. I like to think of myself as a kind person, but at times like this, I wonder. But there we go. You are now fully upgrading. You've got a Dalek skirt and a bender body and head. Well, not quite a bender body, but near enough. Now, I want to specifically adjust your brain, Vigamura, and then I'm going to pop that across to Vaughn. So, you know what? Let's just get rid of, well, I suppose the log storage part. That makes sense. You'll go ahead and you'll do that, but I want to make a couple of changes. So let's grab all of this. No. Go away. There we go. Start nice and fresh. So the first thing I would like you to do is, since you've got a natural capacity to carry 4 planks, whereas our previous bots did not, it makes sense for you to manufacture planks twice. So I'm going to have you do this 2 times. Times 2. Or until there is a break. I would like you to go grab a log and then deliver that log to your designated wood chopping device. There we go. Now that being said, I suppose I could have you... I could have you gather the logs from each one, whoever finishes gathering the logs first. I don't know though. Yeah, you know what? Let's put a bit of a change in this. So previously, we brought along the logs, we manufactured planks, and then we searched for planks available. Now, ultimately, your goal is to supply planks. So until hands full, I would like you to break out of here if there is an error. I would like you to find the nearest plank. It's nice and simple. Just go and grab it. And I would like you to put this in this structure right there. I want you to look in the basic manufactorum. So the whole of the manufactorum is somewhere that you can look for planks. Now, if your hands are empty at this point, or rather until hands empty, go ahead and drop these off in here. I don't want you to stop doing this until you have actually emptied your hands completely. Now, what I would suggest here is, in the event that there are still more planks to collect, you literally filled your hands and you drop them off. I want you to continue gathering planks to drop off. So I'm going to put this within a do forever loop with a break. Now we'll grab both of these, pop them in there. Now I need a way. Ooh, I'm running low on brain space now, though. That's a little bit of a problem. But I guess we could wait until we've got a more powerful bot to make this much more complex. But what I was going to touch on, and I'll finish the explanation because it may be useful for those of you who are playing the game and perhaps a little bit further on. There's one caveat to the way that the breaking happens in forever loops. When a command is executed within a loop, which itself may be within a loop, so on so forth, all the way down the loop chain, that has a break. Doesn't matter if it's the loop that it's inside. So for example, in this particular command, find nearest plank, that is itself within a loop that has a breakout clause. But add plank to storage is not. But it doesn't matter, because this loop, the loop that add plank to storage is within, is itself within a loop that has a breakout clause. Whenever a command that is on some level within a loop, doesn't matter if it's directly in that loop or within a loop, within a loop, within a loop, as long as one of the loops that it's inside of has a breakout command, if that command fails in a substantial way, it will skip all commands all the way down until it can exit a loop that has a break arrow in it. So, to explain this, if we tried to find the nearest plank and couldn't, it failed, we would exit out of this loop but would continue as normal, because the moment you exit out of one of the loops with a down arrow, you've completed your breakout clause and normal execution of code resumes. However, in the case of add plank to storage, if that one fails, well, the first thing it's going to do is it's going to break out of this repeat loop, even though it doesn't have a breakout clause. But because it didn't, it's going to break out of the next layer of loops. In this case, this forever loop, and because it has a breakout clause, that's it. It's fulfilled its obligation to exit out of a loop because it failed. And so on and so forth. If this loop didn't have it, but this one did, then this loop would immediately be exited out of as well. Until it got to this loop, it would exit out of this loop, correctly and then would stop execution of the program in this case. But I hope that has explained it a bit better. So to make this loop work properly, we need one more find command. So let's go and grab that. But we don't actually want to move to it. We just want to check, is there an available plank? Can I find a plank in the zone that I'm meant to be looking for a plank in? If I can, then sure. Start gathering planks until my hands are full or I fail to find a plank. In which case, exit out of that loop, and then try and take all of the planks that I currently have in my hands to storage until my hands are empty. Or until I can't find another plank. So the execution would go here, comes into this loop forever, comes into this loop forever, tries to look for a plank, sees one, goes to collect it until it runs out of planks or it runs out of inventory space. At that point, goes to the storage, drops off all of its planks until its hands are empty. At that point, tries to find another plank. If there are no more planks, it now exits out and then goes to find a log and brings it back. So this gives priority to loading planks into the storage, but not just planks that it has chopped, any plank that it can find in this area. I think that's a fairly good little program there. A bit over-engineered, but you can probably already start to see how that kind of loop will be useful in the future. So we're gonna stop you there, Vikamura. I would like very much to steal your brain. Come on down to me. There we go, and I'll just drop this plank off. There we are. And let's grab your brain, give it to Vaughn, but we're gonna have to make a slight adjustment to Vaughn. So Vikamura, at this point, you're free to go. Enjoy. Vaughn, I want you to use a different chopping block. That's all. There you go. Vaughn, crack on. And enjoy. Thank you very much, Vikamura. So Vikamura will now gather planks, even if Vikamura has... Well, let me just grab a plank. So there's no planks there. That's unfortunate. I'll wait for one. All right, I'm going to grab this. So Vikamura is going to grab the planks, go off to empty them out. I'm going to drop that plank on the ground. But the first thing that Vikamura is going to do is come collect that plank. Even though Vikamura had effectively entered the drop off my cargo, Vikamura did not go to start making more planks because they could see that there was still planks to gather. And I think that's something we're probably going to try and teach the rest of our bots moving forward. But with that all done, it's time for us to set up the pole storage in much the same way we've done the plank storage. So I will bring you back in just a moment. And welcome back. As you can see, we've got a lot of things going on. We've moved a lot of production over here. We've got the pole storage. We've set up a new storage for poles, though I haven't actually designated what it should store. Let me quickly do that. We've also brought over the gears and the wheels and expanded that storage as well. So that's actually pretty cool. But say hello to Xenovoid and Univenom, two new bots who have very, very generously donated their names to the dapperest of causes, and Pepster. Now, before we get down to any of the programming over here, I want to address a little bug in the code that I noticed with Vikamura and Vaughn only after operation for a little bit. Now, this one may be a little bit tricky to follow, so I'm actually going to stop Vikamura here just to go over how this all worked. Now, as I mentioned, the way that this forever loop worked correctly was that it had a breakout clause that could be activated if they looked for a plank and couldn't find one. At that point, the assumption is, well, you're not carrying any planks or there are no more planks to be located, because if they broke out of the plank in this section, that had a breakout clause, so they would only exit out of this repeat loop, then carry on. And so by the time they got around to the top again, the assumption is that their hands are empty, in which case they would search for a plank, fail to find one, exit out of this forever loop, and then go grab a log. This section down here didn't used to have a breakout clause, and as such, if this command failed in any way, it would exit out of this loop, because it used to look like this. It would exit out of this, and then ultimately exit out of the forever loop, because that was the next available loop that had a break clause. The issue with that is if they break out of this loop for any reason without having emptied their hands of planks first, they'll go and try and grab a log and they won't be able to pick one up because their hands will be full, and that causes us problems. Now, the problem arose because Zangiri is sometimes, as he is right now, just kind of waiting at this storage, ready to pounce on the first available plank that gets put in there. So once a plank was put in there, Zangiri will immediately try to extract that plank. If the bot that put the plank in there had 2 planks or more, when they then try to put the second plank in, which they will do very quickly, The storage will refuse because it's currently being interacted with by Zangiri. So that would give us a breakout condition for this loop that I wasn't expecting initially. The way I've solved this is I've put this loop within a second until hands empty loop. It's a bit of superfluous code really, but it does serve a function here. It doesn't look like it should. Whilst this loop has no breakout clause, this one now does. So if they try to put a plank in there, and Zangiri is there, like a leopard just waiting to launch itself at the first plank that appears in its tree, then they'll just try it again, because they'll break out of this loop comfortably because it has a breakout clause, but then they will immediately go back through the loop again because their hands still aren't empty, and they'll keep doing that until Zangiri stops getting in their way and they eventually empty out their hands, or they can't empty their hands, in which case they will just stand there forever waiting until there's room, which is the correct kind of behavior. I did want to cover that one quickly just in case anyone is playing along with me and got very hopelessly confused why their code wasn't doing the same thing that mine code was. So there you go. Mischief managed. Now, we need to set up our bots. First and foremost, Univenom, you're going to be doing more or less exactly what Zangiri does. So let's get you taught first. There we are. We just want a nice little forever loop. Go grab yourself a pole. Then let's pop that one in there. There we go. I just wanted to show this happening. I want you to grab a pole that's in storage until hands are full. Dunk dunk. And then drop it off, like so, until hands are empty. Dunk, dunk. There we are. However, I'm going to reorder these. Ultimately, I want you to be transferring logs into this storage. That's the top of the chain, or rather the end of the chain. So we want to work from top down, or from the end back to the beginning. I want you to try and do this first. Right, now then, we need to get Xenovoid and Pepster set up. Well, first and foremost, Pepster, let's get you upgraded. There we go. And yes, I'm going to keep this in the video. I know it's something I've shown before, but it's an important event. We're about to have even more of the original bots smelted down. I feel bad and not bad. I mean, it's all in the name of progress, but still, probably not great. There we go. We'll pop. Oh, that looks stupidly cute. No, don't burn that one. Oh, too late. Ah, well. Right then, Pepster. I need to pull you... Or what? Move Univenom up first and pull Pepster down. Now, we're going to go through and more or less scrub your brain. But honestly, your code is going to be so ridiculously similar to Vaughn and Vikamura. I'm just going to go ahead and steal theirs. So, womp. Thank you very much, Vaughn. That should be everything we need from you. Let me slide you on down over here so that I can grab your brain and give it to Xenovoid, and then we should be good. They're making really, really good progress over there. I'm actually quite pleased with that. Though I will confess, some of the building projects take a hopelessly long time. There we go. Marvellous. Let's get you two up in here and start the whole group. Go, 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 and enjoy. There we are. We should now have limitless amounts of poles. Well, kind of. As you can see, our forestry area is getting quite a lot of action at the moment because we are using up so much lumber. So very much lumber. Now, what else are we going to be moving over there? Well, one of the things I would like to move over there, and I'll probably move you out of the way to accommodate that. I'll probably set these guys up over here. I do want to move over the pegs construction and probably everything that we can make over here. What else can we make? We can make two things, so we're going to need at least two of these. Okay, well, it's not a terrible setup. We could even have them down here because we've got quite a lot of space and we don't need as much storage on that side. Sure, all right. Let's move some things around. So we're going to want you. Oh, actually, we should probably move all of these as well. Let me get rid of some of these and just slide these in. No reason to waste all of that. So we're going to want probably two of these. If I spread them out a little bit better, then I can have a nice convenient place to put the storages. Or I could even have them back to back. That would be kind of cool. No, we're not going to do that. As cool as it would be, I think I would rather have things be a little bit more uniform. That being said, we need to check what kind of storage we need for these components. So first and foremost, what do we need for this? That's a crate. Good. That is also a crate. they're all crates. Okay, marvelous. That's actually ideal for us. So let's get these crates in position. I could have one there, and I'd rather not bump up against the back, though, if I can avoid it. We could have 2, and then a 3rd just over there. Actually, that seems to make a little bit more sense to me. So we will be moving these around. Since I know what I'm going to want, I can have our constructors make them. We're going to want 3 of these. There we go. We're also going to want another structural workbench. I'm going to have to set up fixing pegs as something that is made, but for now, I'll have to do that manually. We're going to want another of these. There you go. Got a lot of work for our bots. Ultimately, though, we're going to need probably just 3 bots. I'm going to assume that a Mark 1 is going to be able to manufacture everything and store it as well. We will just double check that, though. We're not going to be upgrading Ross or... Oh, there we go. That one might be a little bit more complicated. Ross or raccoons just yet. The square frame... the panel may actually take a little bit more work to make for one bot. We'll see if we can manage to get all of that together, but the fixing pegs should easily be possible for us to manufacture. So I'm going to go ahead and make 3 new bots, and I'll bring you back in a moment. Oh, look at that. Simple stone shaping has been researched. Marvelous. There we go. Okay, well, let's have a quick look at what we're going to be researching next then. We've got farming technology, which I am tempted to go for. The log cabin, I can only assume, is just going to be a lot of potch for us to set up. Construction technology, though, sounds interesting. That would add a lot more parts into our setup. Still... we would need 3 new benches. I mean, when making the basic manufactorum, it would seem like a reasonable thing to go for. What do we need for that? We just need 2 crude gears. Very well, let us go and grab these. I am starting to feel the temptation to expand out our colonist farming. I'll be honest, we need more WUV, but for us to... we're not even really making the best use of the WUV that we've got right now, unfortunately, simply because we're not producing food fast enough. So probably before we expand this out, we're going to want to expand out our cooking and actually build a cooking area rather than simply expand it out. Okay, well, we've got 2 bots that I think will complement each other, and we've also got a storage stack, so sure, let's find out who these bots are. Say hello to Amira and Squizzly, and thank you so much, Amira, for your support on Patreon. Right, well, your jobs are going to be to deal with the fixing pegs, and then Squizzly is going to be joining the builders in order to use those fixing pegs on buildings that need them. So, Amira, this shouldn't be too difficult of a task for you, frankly. I may, in fact, set you up with a backpack so you can just make loads and loads and loads, but we'll see how we can go. So first and foremost, a forever loop. Now, ultimately, I want you to be dropping things off, so until hands are empty, I would like you to drop things off down there. If we can find anything, then we should actually place them into the storage, so we would have an until hands full. In fact, this may in many ways just be a continuation of Pepser and Vaughn's code. So rather than me go through the rigmarole of setting all of that up, let's find one of them. Pepster, where are you right now? Pepser is hanging out. Xenovoid there. Oh no, there we go. Pepser, if you could just pause just for a moment, and I'm gonna steal your mind. Don't worry, there we go. It would be an awful waste to waste your mind. Right, let's go and get Amira set up. And I definitely got a bit of a theme going now for our construction boss. Right then, Amira, we need to adjust things a little bit for you. So, first and foremost, actually, no, we kind of want you to find the poles. So we could just make as many as we possibly can until we can't make any more of these pegs, and then stow them. I think that would actually be kind of cool since you can carry quite a few. So we don't need the plank storage going on there. We want until hands full. Go and find not the nearest pole. We want to go and grab a pole specifically from pole storage. So let's go and do that first. There we are. So move to pole storage until hands full. Take from pole storage. We can... I'll leave that inside the loop. It does waste some cycles, a tiny bit of time, but I think it's better to have it contained. So once you've got a hands full, we then want you to simply bring it down here and drop them off. And there we go. Let's go ahead and pop that within a hands empty loop. There we go. Pop that down. And just keep going with this, really. I just want you to keep on keeping on. Now, this is where it's going to get a bit tricky. Can you find a peg? You should be able to. And I would like this to be done... Oh, we've got no more room in your brain, which is a little bit of an issue. What we'll do then is we'll just pop this in there for now. And get rid of that repeat loop, just until I've finished working on this. So I would like you, there we go, to look for this within the manufactorum area. There you go. And until hands full, just fill them up. Or until you eventually fail with that. Once that's done, until hands empty, don't break out of that one though. Just go over there, start dropping them off. You shouldn't break out of that loop at all. That should work, realistically speaking. We will put this within a... If we've got 2 kilobytes free, which we do, fantastic. Sure, we can pop this one within a forever loop as well. Ah, there we go. I was overthinking the problem massively. I just need to have the same process of finding another peg available as the breakout clause. It's literally, I've just reversed this whole loop, but for some reason I couldn't quite grasp that in my mind at the time. It was very, very silly. There we go, and I want you to drop these off. We will get rid of that so that I can drop them off properly. Oh, really? Come on now. Why are you being such a scallywag? There we go. Could we drop these off properly? So, whomp. There we are. Perfect. And then we just want this at the top. There we go. So, this should work for Amira. You will craft pegs, and you craft as many as you can possibly carry, which is going to be quite a few. You will go to the pole storage, grab 4 poles at the moment, drop them off, which will result in 8, I believe, fixing pegs. Then, forever, until hands empty, your hands will be empty, so it'll skip this loop. Until hands are full, you'll go and grab the fixing pegs. At this point it will break the loop. So really, we need this fixing peg loop to be at the top, always at the top of that one. Sorry, just before the find the nearest fixing peg loop. Otherwise, if we had this one down here and you picked up the last fixing peg, your hands are full of fixing pegs, but this will fail and it'll exit the loop. We want you to have had an opportunity to unload first. We don't necessarily want you to break out of this loop though. So realistically, I do need another until hands empty in there. Can I find that anywhere in this? Can we steal that from somewhere, I wonder? Looks like we might not be able to. Nope, no such luck. So Amira, I mean, you could probably consider this a benefit, really. We had to upgrade your brain. It was the only way. We need this to be within a non-break hands empty loop. Otherwise, the first time you try to put it in, but this is full, you'll break out of this loop and then go off and try and make more pegs, which is completely not what we want you to do. So there you go. You've got an extra 3 kilobytes. Maybe I'll find something to fill that with. But let's have a quick wash of this. So you had no pegs to begin with. You're off to grab some poles. There you go. You're filling up your hands. Marvelous. There we are. And now you're just going to make these for now. Now, of course, we're going to be moving these around, but I do just want the fixing pegs being made because it doesn't really matter where they're being made, only that they are being made. There you go. Let's see that one made. And you've got 2 more to go. And while that's all going on, let me just have a quick look. The masonry bench. We'd need 2 square frames, 2 rough stone blocks, and a crude chisel. I imagine then that we can make crude chisels. Yes, that's probably something new that we can make. That is a lot of fixing pegs right there. Now, are you going to be able to do everything as we intend? There you are. Now you're off to drop these off. Marvelous. Keep going. There you are. Now, of course, we're not really going to get to see this loop act normally, but we've already seen that it is more or less doing what it's meant to be doing over here, so we should be okay. Right, there we go. All of them being dropped off, and then this should break out of the forever loop. And there we are. And you're off to make more. Marvelous. I am truly, truly happy with this. You get to join the Manufactorum there. Okay, so Squizzly, what a marvelous name. You're going to be joining the builders. And your job, simple enough, is going to be forever. Let's pop this in. Until hands full, go and grab some pegs. There we go. And I would also, well, I would like you to stow these as well. That's why I gave you a backpack after all. So stow, held item, and just keep going until you break out because there's no more to gather. We're going to want a retrieve, but ultimately it's probably more of a cycle that we want. Well, no, a retrieve will be the one that we want in this case, simply because you're not rotating tools which have a durability. The moment you use this fixing peg, well, that's it. Right, let's grab that one, make sure it's in the construction zone. There we are. Womp. And basically do this until hands are empty. There shouldn't be a break here, so just retrieve. Go ahead. Well, actually, we want to retrieve at the bottom of the blueprint so that once you've added something to a blueprint, if you do have any in your backpack, you can pull it back out. And that should be all you need to do. Crack on, Squizzly, and enjoy your time in the builder group. That should be marvelous. There you go. That's also pretty cool that we've built that path because that takes a long time to do. But it looks like it's going to be a little while before we have managed to finish all of this up. And I think we're probably going to have to wrap up the rest of the Manufactorum in the next episode. My goals in the next episode are to actually expand the Manufactorum and to take it up to another level further north. And that's where we're going to move all tool production and indeed all of our bot production. We might even expand it out even further to fit in all the bot production. But I think we'll have more than enough stuff to add in this section of the Manufactorum in just adding the square frames, the fixing pegs, and the panels. But it looks like we're probably going to have more and more things to add as we move forward. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, though. It was a bit of exposition and explaining about the code, but I think the code that we've got for Amira, Vaughn, and indeed Xenovoid, Pepster, and finally Vikimaru is actually quite cool in that they will actively search for these items around the base. Though I should actually update Amira, Pepsa, and Xenovoid to make sure that they are looking for any discarded poles or indeed fixing pegs, and I'll do that off camera just so that they'll keep their place tidy. I think it's pretty cool. But that's going to be it from me. So until next time, and as always, take care, everyone.